It is the Reading Rush wrap up. The Reading Rush finished yesterday and I accomplished some of the challenges, not all, some of the challenges and some of my own personal goals, not all, but some. So we had a decent readathon. Overall, I read 1,599 pages, which is pretty good. I'll take that. I will take it. That is acceptable. And I've finished 4 books and I'm almost finished another. So let me tell you what those books are. First thing I read was E.m.m.a.f.a.g.a.n by Ransom Riggs. This is the 4th book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children about children with peculiar abilities. I was finishing this. I started it during the biannual bibliothon and I was finishing it for this readathon. It was not my favourite in the series. Unfortunately, I did not love it all that much. In fact, I didn't really even like it. I will probably continue with the series because I enjoyed the first 3 so much, but it feels very much like maybe they should have left it after the first 3. It wrapped up nicely. It was a nice finale. I don't know if this was necessary. The next book I read was Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. This is the first book in a duology about 2 sisters, and it's kind of like Hunger Games meets The Selection. And while I thought I was done with dystopian, didn't want any more to do with it, I had got this book in a book subscription, so I was like, you know, I'll read it, and if I like it, I like it. If I don't, we can donate it. But I surprised myself by really enjoying this book. It was surprisingly fun. It was like, I mean, it's a dystopian, so you get what you expect. But it was a fun, nice take on it, and it went in a different direction than I was expecting it to. Not sure that every element of it was fantastic, but there were parts of it that were just really fun. So I enjoyed this book a lot. The 3rd book I finished was an audiobook, and that was Eldest by Christopher Paolini. This is the 2nd book in the e.m.m.a.f.a.g.a.n series, which is a series that everyone seems to love, and I am liking. I'm not loving it. It's not like my new favorite, but I'm liking it. The first book I read, I think I have an unfair opinion on the first book. I just read it at a really low point in my mental health. So I decided to continue with the audiobook so as to kind of like give a different take on it. I don't know that this was the best decision. I mean, it did mean I read the whole book in about 4 or 5 days, which was cool because it's a big book, but it also was not my favorite narrator. The voice he did for Saphira the dragon, I did not like it. I did not like it. This series is about a boy who finds dragon egg and there's kingdoms and stuff. It's a high fantasy book with dragons, so that's what this book is. The first half I thought was a little boring, but then once it got going, it got really good. So I enjoyed it. The next book I read was Colour of Magic by Terry Pratchett. This is a really short book. It's the first in the Discworld series, and this is another book that I didn't love. I liked the idea of it. I liked what was happening, but I just didn't love how it was happening. The writing style I found distracting, and it was really hard to kind of follow what was happening. Sometimes I'd have to read a passage again and again, and I don't have time for that. So I will probably continue with this series because I have read these books out of order. I've read other books in the series and know that I like them. For example, Witches Abroad. Really, really good. Hogfather. I liked that too. Colour of Magic would probably stand up really well in a reread. Once I know what's going on and I read it again, I'll probably really enjoy it. So this book is getting a second chance. Not right now, but like in the future at some point. And the last book I started but didn't finish was Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepherd. This book is an urban fantasy, I think it is. It is about a group of animals who were turned into people, and there's a witch who did that, and so they were kind of owned by her, so she used them as servants and stuff, and the girl that it follows was super loyal to this witch. She was like devoted, you know, she wasn't like a bad person, she just didn't see the bad things. And essentially the story kind of kicks off when they are forced to find a new mistress because their current one was murdered. Oh, by who? We don't know. Anyway, I'm not done it yet, but it's a really fun book and really easy to kind of fly through the pages. I could have probably finished it last night, but it was getting late and I was tired, so I didn't. I did not. This was a nice way to kind of finish off because I feel like the other books I read this week, I didn't love them all that much. Like I liked them, but I didn't love them. Whereas this was a nice one that I was really enjoying to finish off the readathon, which was nice. It was nice to finish it on a positive note. And that's where we are currently at the moment. 5 books, almost. Let's say 4. Let's say half the first book, half the last book. 4 books, a solid 4 books during the Reading Rush 2019, the first Reading Rush. And that's everything I have for you for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.